I remember one time after a commercial audition I had, it was one of the first big commercial auditions I ever had. This was 12 years ago here in Chicago, and it was for Toys R Us. And I was all excited for this Toys R Us audition. This isn't helping. This is not helping. I was going to this Toys R Us audition and it wasn't helping. 12 years ago, I was in Chicago. Here, I'm still in Chicago, but I was very much new to Chicago 12 years ago. And I had this commercial audition for Toys R Us. And I was so excited about this audition. And I get there and I do the audition and I bombed and I did a terrible job. And the whole way home on the walk back to the bus and on the bus and on my way home from the bus, I beat myself up. I beat myself up so bad. And I was like, Tony, you're an idiot. You should have done better. Shame on you. Shame on you. And not only was this really harmful to my mental health, me beating myself up after I just had this really frustrating experience, it wasn't actually making me a better actor. But here's the thing. In the moment, I felt like I was the better actor. I felt like I was doing myself better by beating myself up. And if beating yourself up was actually helpful, it would have worked by now. And the funny thing is, we think that beating ourselves up makes us feel better. Here's something else that happened just a couple of years later. I had another audition, smaller audition for this this corporate company. And I get there and I do the audition and I bombed again. You would have thought I learned my lesson by now, but I bombed again. I'm like, no, no. And I lost my spot on the script and I was rubbing my hand up the back of my neck because I was so nervous. And I finished the audition. And the person on the other side of the table looks up at me and goes, wow, that was so good. I really believed you. A week later, I got a call back. A few days after that, they said, Tony, you're in the final running. They like you. And then they went in another direction. But the fact is, I almost booked the part from doing a poor job initially. So really beating myself up that time, number one, didn't make me a better actor. And number two, I almost booked the part despite the fact that I suck. Now, here's the thing. We should learn from our mistakes. We should always be growing and improving. I always say content is key. Study the content you want to grow and get better in. And let's also take into consideration that we might start to see results even when we suck, even when we don't know any better. So can we maybe give ourselves credit for being messy? Because sometimes in the messiness is where we learn the most. And even amidst the messiness, we can still start to make progress. These are some of the things I talk about to my Not Perfect group coaching cohort. And right here on Substack, if you upgrade to the paid version, you can join and get 2 group coaching calls with me a month, plus private messenger support. Otherwise, I go live on this page almost every day. And I also do weekly articles. Shoot, I owe you one tonight. I'm going to be getting one tonight. Weekly articles on mindset, mental health, and sometimes food. So stay tuned and subscribe if you're not already for free to get those. Embrace your messiness. Give yourself grace. And remember, if beating yourself up was helpful, it would have worked by now. I'm just saying. I don't make the rules. You're silly. I'll talk to you tomorrow from the cold plunge. # not perfect. Let's go get them, friends.